watch the knees there, little guy. Yeah.
What are you doing there, sir? Yeah, where did you just put your knees? Poor daddy.
Let's get you out of there.
Poor daddy. I just woke up with a baby next to me in bed, which was so awesome and snuggly and wonderful. But also a little bit ironic because, I mean, yeah, he has his own bed right there. Did he use it last night? Well, I think for a couple of hours. But after that, that little baby was, well, that little toddler was right here in between me and my husband. We do not know everything about parenting. We don't even know most of the things.
Yes, we
But
do.
here's one thing that we know with absolute 100% certainty. That this kid, in no time flat, is going to be a teenager just like that one. Oh my gosh, it happens so fast. The days go by slowly sometimes, especially days like that. And because we know that that kid is going to go from a toddler to a teenager like that, we do all of the things that we know we're going to miss when he gets bigger. We've had little kids, we've had big kids. We know that they grow fast. And then once they're grown, all of a sudden you miss out on the things that are so sweet and that you cherish. So something like co-sleeping, I did with my older kids and I enjoyed it. But oh my gosh, because I know how quickly he is going to grow this time around, I enjoy it with Thor way more. Well, maybe not way more, but I am making sure that I treasure each moment in a way that I did not at all with my older kids. When I think back on those times, it's kind of a blur, whereas this time around, I am kind of holding on to the sweetness of it all. Yeah. But co-sleeping isn't just about making sweet memories with my son. It's also about what works for our family. So I've always co-slept with my kids because I believed in attachment parenting and because I believed in extended breastfeeding. So it just made life easier for all of us. We were more attached, we were more connected. It was a lot easier to feed my kids in the middle of the night. It was easier to comfort them and snuggle with them and make them feel secure. So I believe in both the psychological benefits as well as just the pure convenience of co-sleeping. It is way easier when you have babies and toddlers who don't always sleep through the night. So I am still active on some parenting forums, and so often there are questions about, oh my gosh, my toddler isn't sleeping through the night. And, one or two of the Sanctimommies will come on and say, well, my baby sleeps from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m., so I don't know what your baby's problem is. Whereas the vast majority of us are saying, no, our toddler doesn't sleep through the night yet. Sure, some do, and that's great, and lucky for those parents. But for the rest of us, oh well, this is just normal toddler development. A toddler who is waking up in the middle of the night is not abnormal. There is nothing wrong with a toddler who wakes up in the middle of the night. It's a toddler being a toddler. And I promise you, when the baby gets to be not a baby anymore, it's going to sleep through the night. But during this season of life, it is 100% normal for a toddler, and especially a breastfed toddler, to wake up in the middle of the night. No big deal. So you take care of them and you move on with life. Doesn't have to be some big ordeal or a big problem or a, oh, is my baby okay? Everybody else's baby is doing something better. Don't look at it that way. Look at it like, okay, this is normal, so we'll take care of it and we'll move on. And when they're a little bit older, they'll grow out of it. That's what being an older mom does. It gives you perspective. This is the way that co-sleeping works for us. I realize it doesn't work the same for everybody and you have to do what works for you. But for my family, this is what we do. So when Thor was a baby, we had his crib sidecarred to our bed. And what that means is that we had his crib pushed all the way up against our bed with one of the sides off completely. And then we drilled our own holes into the crib so that we could get the mattress at the exact same height as our mattress. So there wasn't any gap. We zip tied the whole thing together so there was no worry about any of it coming apart and him falling in between, and that's the way it worked. And sometimes he would sleep by himself in that little cribby little cocoon, and other times he would just be in bed either next to me or in between the two of us. The way that co-sleeping works for us now is that when we put Thor to bed, he does go to sleep in the crib. Now, when I put him to bed, I will nurse him. Sometimes he falls asleep nursing. A lot of the time lately, though, he doesn't. And so when he is done, he'll be drowsy and I'll lay him into the crib and stay with him until he falls asleep. And it actually has been a pretty smooth transition to that recently. So he'll sleep there for a few hours all on his own, and that way Dave and I can have a little bit of time to ourselves in the evening as well, which is really nice. Now, one thing that we do that is not directly related to co-sleeping, but is more of a, I think, personality thing for us, as well as a function of the fact that we have older kids, is that we do not have a strict sleep schedule. Nowhere even close. I know some people live by their sleep schedules. We are not one of those families. We value flexibility far more. So sometimes Thor will go to bed at 8 p.m. Other times he will go to bed at 11. We just kind of go with the flow. It depends on what we have going on. Are we camping? Do the big kids have events that night? Do we want to go out to dinner? Do we have a family event with extended family? We want to have the flexibility to do all of those things. We want our toddler to fit into our life instead of rearranging our life to fit around our toddler's life. So that's the way we work it, and that's what works well for us now. So we started out with the crib side card. Now it's just a normal crib right there. And so again, Thor starts out the night there, and at some point in the evening, he will wake up, and depending on how tired I am and what time it is, oftentimes I will nurse him back to sleep, or if I'm not around, then Dave will pick him up and rock him or pat him back to sleep. And usually that first time we will put him back in the crib again. But after that, in the middle of the night, all bets are off. And I will usually bring him back into bed with us and nurse him back to sleep. And, you know, honestly, that's what, it works really well for us. It maximizes the amount of sleep that we are all getting. Nobody is up for hours in the middle of the night trying to get a baby back to sleep. And everybody's needs are met, which is for me, that is the goal right there, is making sure that everybody's needs are met. And co-sleeping provides that for us. So we will keep doing it for as long as it works for us. We are starting to transition a little bit away from it. Time goes on, and when he's not teething, he is sleeping for longer stretches at a time. And I know that he will get there. It's not that I want him to co-sleep forever. It's just I'm content to follow his schedule instead of imposing some other schedule on top of him. So that's the way we roll.